Hey everyone, welcome to the 29th episode of the Brothers of Broad Street podcast. I'm here with my man Bryce Ellig. My name's Jim Croger, and a lot to talk about today. But in terms of Major League Baseball, we're taking a break from the NFL to start. We'll finish off this show with the NFL, but we're gonna start out with the MLB. Bryce, how you going? How you doing? How's your day so far?
It's been pretty terrible because the Phillies just refused to make any moves. You got a division rival in the Mets spending almost $300 million in 48 hours, and the Phillies spending as much money as I have in free agency so far, $0. Which for a team that wants to contend, wants to make the playoffs, has the current MVP on their team, and has the second guy in Cy Young on their team, best catcher in baseball. You think they want to make some moves? You think they want to bring in guys like Corey Seager, Carlos Correa, Marcus Semien, but no, I haven't even heard a rumor of them signing anybody so far. I've heard of maybe one Chris Bryant rumor in the last, couple hours. That's about it. It's been terrible. Am I surprised? Once again, as a Philly fan, absolutely not. What's your take on it so far?
For the past 3 or 4 years, Philly fans have heard about how John Middleton's willing to literally spend whatever it takes to get us a World Series. And I am truly convinced today that he has completely lied to us over these past 3 years.
1,000%.
He is not doing whatever it takes to help win a World Series. You just said it yourself. You have the MVP of the league. You have, in my opinion, who should have been the Cy Young winner in Zach Wheeler. And you have the best catcher in baseball. I know he struggled at the plate this season. He had some injuries, but there's no catcher better than JT Realmuto still.
100%.
So right there, you have three players at top, positions. Go out and spend money on a pitcher. I mean, we talked about this on the last episode. Even if it's not Scherzer, okay, that the $43 million a year was crazy. But at the same time, Nola is not the guy behind Wheeler.
No, he's
in
not.
fact, he showed us over the past 2 years that he can be a consistent starter throughout the season. He'll get you some wins. He'll pitch some nice games. But when you need him to step up in big moments, he's not there.
No.
So Aaron Nola's good. Keep him around. He's got a cheap contract. We don't owe him that much money over the next couple of years, but move him to the third starting role. Make that, game 3. Go out and get a guy behind Wheeler. I don't care if it's in the trade market or in free agency. We need pitching. Pitching wins games. You're not going to I don't think we've had a left-handed starter since Cole Hamels has pitched for this team. I know Ranger Suarez came in, but we haven't had a good left-handed starter. Cliff Lee. Who was still Cliff Lee or Cole Hamels? I think it was Cole Hamels last.
Cole Hamels, I would say, was around a little longer.
But have you ever seen a starting rotation without a left-handed pitcher? You need a left-handed pitcher in this league to start.
The Phillies clearly don't think so, and that's why they haven't made the playoffs in a decade.
Now, this is where I'm really going to get heated. You're not going to sign Kershaw. You're not going to pull him away from Los Angeles and bring him over here. He's going to be a Dodger for life. I get that. But you have the AL Cy Young Award winner on the free agent market. Us Phillies have been linked to him for the past 2 years at the trade deadline, Robbie Ray. The Mariners gave him a cheap contract. For the Cy Young Award winner, he only got 5 years, 110 or 115 million. You can't offer a Cy Young Award pitcher more than $115 million. Are you kidding me? But here's what they're going to do. I'm telling you what they're going to do. They're going to give that money to Chris Bryant. I like Chris Bryant, but in my opinion, that's such a bad move. That is such a bad move because
my take on Chris Bryant. I'll say it over and over again. He's, in my opinion, one of, if not the most overrated player in baseball. I'm not saying he's a bad baseball player, but people have him in the talks of an MVP, multiple all-star type guy. He's just not that guy. He's really just not. He's a very solid MLB player. He's probably an above average third baseman. He hits the ball okay. He fields the ball solid. But, that's just in my opinion of him. I feel like he's kind of dipped instead of taking off a little bit. He's kind of more, gone the opposite direction.
The one thing that he would give Joe Girardi is flexibility with the lineup. You could put Bryant at third base. You could put him at first base. You could put him in left field. You could even put him in center field. But I don't care about that because you need pitchers. And we already have a weak bullpen. So you don't want your bullpen coming into 5th, 6th, 7th innings. You want to be able to have pitchers that can go the distance and give you good quality outings every single time they take the mound. We don't have that right now. We don't have reliability with these pitchers. I know Eflin was hurt last year. He was pitching well before he went down, but you can't rely on Ranger Suarez because of his injury history. Wheeler's your only guy. Robbie Ray has been good over the past 3 years now, maybe 2 years. I think the third year, the last, he made an adjustment or something, but he's been good.
No, yeah, 100%.
Why not go out and sign him? That's not a lot of money. 115 million is not a lot of money.
No, especially because it's not that hard to steal a player from like the Seattle Mariners, once again, a low market team that is not known for paying their players a ton of money. The Phillies, the opposite, are known for paying their players a ton of money.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Who would you rather play with? Bryce Harper and Zach Wheeler on the Philadelphia Phillies and have JT Realmuto catching you? Or out in Seattle when, literally players go out there and their careers just fall off?
They haven't made the playoffs in 20-something years.
I mean, look what happened to Robinson Cano when he signed a big deal with them. We never heard from him again until he came back over to the NL East with the Mets.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly.
So that is just so frustrating when I saw that today because, listen, Max Scherzer, that deal is ridiculous. I mean, they're going to have a great 1-2 punch with DeGrom and Scherzer. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm actually excited to watch. But go get Robbie Ray. Like, you need a left-handed starter. Bring somebody in who just won the Cy Young Award.
I mean, it's crazy too to think, and I think a big deal. And I don't know if we talked about it or went over. We might have went over it at the end, but people laugh and they joke, and he's gotten a lot of crap over the last couple seasons. But Hector Neris is a good reliever in the MLB. I'm not saying he's the best. He's not an all-star type guy, but he's a really solid player to have in your bullpen. You almost know what you're going to get out of him consistently. He has obviously his ups and downs. He's been closer. He's been the setup man. But for a team like the Astros, who are already a really good team with a really good bullpen, pick up a guy like that on a cheap deal, 2 years, $17 million for a solid MLB closer, a veteran, is a great deal. I definitely would have not let him go on that deal. I would have paid him 2 years, $20 million to keep him around. I'm sure he wanted to probably stay in Philadelphia, but I have a feeling, not a feeling, I know for a fact that the Phillies probably lowballed him, probably offered him like 2 years, $12 million, something low. And it's a shame that we lose a guy like that. That hasn't really been talked about so far from what I've heard. We have an already really weak bullpen, and we lost our only honestly solid guy in the bullpen.
And I don't want to hear these reports that the Phillies are in on Josh Hader from Milwaukee, or they're in on Craig Kimbrell or anything like that. Because if you can't even lock up a setup guy for cheap money, you're not going to go out and make the big move. Like, what prospects are we going to trade for Josh Hader from Milwaukee or Kimbrell? Like, who are we going to give up?
We already have one of the worst farm systems
in baseball. Yeah. So who are you going to give up to bring them over? Nobody. So to let a guy like Neris walk, our bullpen, I mean, he was the only guy that we had in our bullpen.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like with the only name that we know, because every year it's a bunch of randoms for the most part. Literally, we figure out our closer every single season is like halfway through the season. We're like, I guess he's going to close, and then it's a new guy. We're the only team in the baseball that's been consistently doing that. That's why we can't make the playoffs, because our bullpen's been the worst bullpen in baseball for, I want to say, the last 5 years. And you lose the one guy. I mean, what's crazy too is Hector Neris has been the longest Philly. He is now Nola's the longest, has been on the team the longest. It's crazy to think that we just let a guy like that, a veteran who's been on the Phillies now for 7-8 years, just go away in free agency for cheap. The MLB, one thing about the MLB is everybody gets paid. Every single player, even the really bad players make good money. And Hector Neris is a solid MLB player. For him to sign a 2-year, $17 million deal, I mean, come on, you got to keep him around. That's ridiculous. $8.5 million a year for a guy like Hector Neris. I'm paying him that all day.
100%. 100%.
I think if you offer him the same exact deal, he's going to stay in Philadelphia.
No doubt, because he's comfortable. He's comfortable with the organization, with the fans, with the players. He knows Citizens Bank Park so well. It's been his home for the last
8 years. I mean, he's been on the Phillies. It's crazy to think about it, but yeah.
So, just a bad business decision in my opinion. I know you're upset about losing Neris. I was looking today when all these moves were going down, and you still never heard anything from the Phillies side.
I mean, it would be nice to at least hear them say, like, hey, like they were, Corey Seagers was in talk with the Phillies. Like, I didn't even hear that.
I I don't like that deal for the Rangers. All right, and here's why. They're a young team. All right, they're going to have a lot of talented players over these next couple of years that they're going to owe some money to. Giving Corey Seager 10 years at $325 million, Bryce Harper got that. All right. Is Corey Seager Bryce Harper?
Well, no, Bryce Harper's the top player in baseball.
Also, Corey Seager cannot stay healthy. I don't think he's played a full season yet.
Yeah, I was going to say he is an MVP caliber player if he could stay 100% healthy, but that's been his issue. But at the same time, though, you get paid for what you do in the playoffs, and it came a year early, but he went off in the World Series, and people remember that no matter what. He got paid for it. I mean, everyone knew that he was going to be the top guy to get paid in free agency whatsoever. And it's like I said just a minute ago, baseball, everybody gets paid. Everybody
I know, but listen, $325 million, that's a higher AAV than Bryce Harper got.
Well, also, the thing that sucks about that is even if, Harper's such a big name in baseball, like, especially nowadays, what's crazy is that a lot of people don't even know the best player in baseball is Mike Trout. Like, people don't even know that. Everyone knows Bryce Harper. Even the people that don't even watch baseball know who he is. No one knows who Corey Seager is. I think that's a big thing. I know that.
Yeah, unless they're out west. Yeah, in terms of,
Bryce Harper brings in crowds. Like, I mean, the Phillies have struggled since we've gotten him. This was his third year on the team. People still come out and watch the Phillies all the time because Bryce Harper's on the team. He's an exciting guy to watch. Even with them struggling this year, he was the MVP. People wanted to come and see him.
I'm looking at this free agency list right now. If there's one guy you have to go get right now, in my opinion, if I'm the Phillies, if I'm the GM, I would go do something similar with what they did with Wheeler 2 years ago. Go sign Marcus Stroman for cheap. All right, he's not going to ask for a big payday. He struggled last year a little bit with the Mets, but bring him over. That would help us out. I know the Mets just signed Scherzer, I get it, but them having Stroman and him pitching against us, we take that away from them. Stroman's a good number 2.
Oh, for sure. I meant also the fact that we forget we still have Kyle Gibson, who as a third, fourth guy in the rotation, obviously fourth guy in the rotation, that would be amazing to have him. And Eflin, I think, is a great number 5 to have. That would set the bullpen up.
Yeah. So, I still like to have a left-handed starter, but with Robbie Ray off the table, Kershaw's not going anywhere. I wouldn't sign Hamels. He's going to get hurt again. He's just too old.
Hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for Cole Hamels 1 year.
If you're gonna sign Cole Hamels, you put him to the bullpen. Kind of like what they did with Jamie Moyer. Remember they brought Jamie Moyer in and then they moved him to the bullpen?
I'm surprised Jamie Moyer's still not playing.
He probably still could.
He was like 25 years veteran. It was crazy.
Philadelphia legend. But that's why I would bring in Cole Hamels if you're gonna put him into the bullpen, honestly. Have him eat up some innings if a starter has a bad day. But if I'm the Phillies, go offer Stroman. Like, Stroman can't be asking for much. If Robbie Ray got 5 years, 115, I would go give Stroman 3 years for 60, 3 years for 65.
He's also like an electric guy. Like, he's fun to watch. Like, he just is all out. He's kind of like he's very passionate. He's crazy. He lets it all out.
He'd be perfect for Philadelphia.
I'm here for that. Obviously, we need to do a lot of work in the bullpen. I mean, Archie Bradley's gone. I'm not saying he killed it this season, but still a name that's not on the team anymore.
I was looking at the bullpen, and I'm hearing rumors are talking about trying to trade Gene Segura to the White Sox for Craig Kimbrell. Would you do that?
That would hurt because I mean I'm a big Gene guy. I think we all are, but I mean, yeah, you got to do that deal 100%.
You got to take that deal 100% because listen, we haven't had a lockdown closer since Jonathan Papelbon, and even he wasn't what we expected him to be when we signed him. So you bring in Kimbrell, and I know losing Segura in the lineup's going to hurt because he always bats above 300. But then we give your boy Bryson Stott a chance to come up and work his way in the lineup and show us what he's got.
Yeah, the deal makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It's a shame because Gene Segura is such a great player, but he's just one of those guys that spends a year or two with the team and then they just get rid of him for like a perfect example is for like a guy like Craig Kimbrell. But yeah, the Phillies got to do it. Gene Segura is not going to pick them up any more wins than they had this season. Craig Kimbrell can improve our record by 20 wins.
Just because you take out all those blown saves, even if you cut them in half, we're in the playoffs.
Yeah, what's great, and what I say about baseball, Braves just made the playoffs, just barely made the playoffs, and World Series champs. Baseball's a crazy game.
Number two on my list that the Phillies should sign is Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
My man had an awesome season last year, both with the Nationals and the Red Sox. That's another player who can move around at different positions. He could play first base, right field, left field, and now at this DH in the NL, he could DH for us. And we have no other left-handed power bat in our lineup besides Harper. We need a lefty bat in Citizens Bank.
Citizens Bank, home run hitting ballpark. Good place to be at if you hit the long ball.
How many home runs do you think Schwarber would hit at Citizens Bank Park?
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not gonna get too crazy. Like I'm not gonna say he's gonna hit 60. I'll just say more realistically, he could probably hit a little bit over 40 home runs if he stays healthy.
I was going to say anywhere between 35 and 45.
I was gonna say I was gonna say 35, more realistically 35 to 38, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt with a stadium that's easy to hit home runs in. I'm gonna give him a little bit over 40. I think a great season, an unbelievable season out of him would be like 42 to 45 home runs, which is possible. But he's not like a 50 home run a guy, like season guy. He's not that guy.
But you got to think he was playing in Washington. That stadium's huge. And
Yeah,
now
that's a hard stadium. Yeah.
he comes over to Citizens Bank and hits some home runs. I actually think, I mean, Harper's obviously one of the best hitters in the league, definitely better than Schwarber overall. But I think Schwarber has the ability to hit more home runs at home than Harper will.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean,
He's always swinging for the fence, Schwarber. He's
like
always
Nelson Cruz.
yeah.
That's
Just
why he's still around. Like at 45 years old, because Nelson Cruz could still crush the ball.
Yep. And then obviously third on my list is Chris Bryant. I know you're not a fan of him that much because his average is low. He hasn't been that MVP type caliber player.
He's not. He's a good baseball player. He's not a great baseball player. That's my opinion on him. I'm not going to go crazy and say. I mean, he's an improvement from Alec Boone. 100% an improvement.
So who's top three on your list?
At this
You
point,
have someone that stands out that you're like, the Phillies need to go get them.
I would like for them to. I mean, I doubt it would because most of the time the White Sox are very good about keeping their players. But Carlos Rondon, I would really like to see them go after him. I mean, he's a younger guy. He had a really good season last year. He's had a good couple seasons. I think he's a little bit overshadowed because they've got I forget his name, but they have a great pitcher over there. What's the White Sox pitcher?
Lance
Louis
Lynn.
or
Lance
Lance Lynn. Yeah, Lance Lynn, a great pitcher over there. So that's how I see it. Is he's a little overshadowed. I think that'd be a great name. Chris Bryant. Obviously, I still want to see the Phillies sign him. I think it will be for way too much. I think the deal will end up probably kind of similar to what Jake Arrieta could end up hurting us. And I really thinking about it. I know you don't like him, but I would really like if this team brought in Chris Taylor. He hits at big moments. He had that 3 home run game in the playoffs. Who expected that out of him? And he could play like every single position, all the outfield positions, almost all the infield positions. I mean, the guy does it all. He's young. I just, it's the same thing. Though I think he's going to be a little bit expensive, but at this point, the Phillies they haven't spent anybody so far, so I'd have no problem for them overpaying for a player or two just to get just to get some players on this team.
No,
We also need a center fielder. We don't currently have a center fielder.
He's 31 years old. He's 31 years old. He's good. He stepped up big time for the Dodgers in the postseason. I just think with the way the Dodgers were using him, he wasn't, you didn't really get a large sample size.
I think he also benefited big time being in the Dodgers lineup. Obviously the smallest name there with guys like Mookie Betts and Corey Seager and all them. He was able to kind of be the middle guy they pitched down the middle to, hoping he wouldn't get a hit.
Oh my gosh. He was like the 7th, 8th hitter in that lineup.
Yeah, but the big thing,
loaded.
But the big thing is, what's not crazy is that the Phillies also have a very, very strong lineup.
They do,
especially hitting wise. If you can get a guy like, I think. Oh, also, my bad. I don't know why I completely blanked, but Kyle Schwarber definitely. It would be in my top 3 for sure. He'd probably be my 1 or 2 for the Phillies to bring in. If you could bring in him and Chris Taylor, I think that'd be really, really big for the team.
We also have the hitting coach that Schwarber had in Washington.
Yeah.
So that chemistry would definitely help.
Yeah, I mean, Schwarber's. He's whatever team he goes to, they tend to succeed. He's been on a lot of winning teams. He's won a World Series. He's a good player. I'd love to bring him in, and I don't know. Me with Chris Taylor, I think definitely he's going to be like an $100 million guy, which is crazy for a guy like him. But hey, like sometimes you got to do it. I still just because he's overpaid doesn't mean he's not a good player.
But see, that's why that's so frustrating with me because if they're going to give this guy Chris Taylor $100 million contract or $120 million, why not give that to Robbie Ray?
Robbie Ray, yeah, 100 million. I mean, I would rather give it to Robbie Ray all day, but
Would you rather? All right. Would you rather do 5 years, $100 million for Chris Taylor, or 5 years, $100 million for Marcus Stroman?
Stroman,
You do it for Stroman.
yeah, I mean because we need pitching more than we
Pitching.
need. Yeah, I think there's no argument there. I wasn't thinking Stroman either because we just went over him. I was thinking more guys we haven't gone over, but
No, no, no.
anyway,
It's good that you brought up guys that that we haven't gone over yet. Because I
I
was
think Carlos Rendon's not getting talked about. I think he's a great pitcher. Like I think he is a great guy to
he had
have.
a down year last year.
Yeah, but I
He's-
still think he's a talented guy. I wouldn't be. It's the same thing with Zach Wheeler. No one saw him being a Cy Young pitcher, but I think Carlos Rendon could be a Cy Young pitcher.
Now, would you rather have um, Jose Iglesias, the shortstop,
Yeah,
or Didi Gregorius?
Didi. My heart's with Didi. I think yes, he had a bad year, but Didi's a clutch player. He's got the most grand slams like ever by a player, just in like general. It's crazy.
So you're keeping Didi for one more year.
Yeah, I think he just had a down year, some injuries here and there. I think he will bounce back for sure.
What if the Phillies have an opportunity on the table to sign Trevor Story?
I mean,
Now,
obviously,
would you say the Phillies can bring in? Oh man, I love doing this. This is why I love fantasy football because you can make trades and like pick up players and all that stuff. But
best part. It's the best part.
would you rather bring in Story on a big deal, or like bring in Trevor Story on a huge deal? Because Corey Seager just landed a huge deal. Talent wise, Story, he's been putting up offensive numbers just like Seager has. Would you rather bring in Trevor Story on a huge deal, or split it up and bring in Stroman and Chris Taylor?
Split it up.
Split it up.
The more two heads are better than one. That's how I always see it. The more players, the better.
Would you
I'm
rather?
also not huge on me. I'm not that big on Trevor Story. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's like.
Now,
I don't think he's like an MVP.
would you rather bring in Correa for $360 million?
Correa. I'd rather bring in Correa. You don't have to even tell me the other options. You don't have to give me anything.
I think you'd like Correa because he doesn't like Derek Jeter just like you. That's why I think.
No, I like Correa because he's 29 years old and he's, in my opinion, might be the best shortstop in baseball. And yes, he's hated because he played for the Astros and they cheated, and I get that. But I don't care about that. I won't care about that if he's hidden for the Phillies, and he would fit perfect in this lineup. You know it, and I know it.
What do you think, Javier? Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done.
No, yeah, I'm just saying he would be perfect for this lineup. Could you imagine him and Harper 1-2 punch?
That'd be good.
That's a lot of fun. I mean, I think he's worth $300 million. Call me crazy.
If we were to sign Correa and we'd have Correa and Harper at 3 and 4, would that be a better 3 and 4 with Utley and Howard?
Whoa! Don't do that to me, Jim. That's no. Utley and Howard. Chase Utley's the goat of this pod. He's known as the goat.
I know, but
And Howard was an MVP, and then he lost like 15 pounds and just forgot how to hit the baseball. But no, I got to go with Utley Howard. That they have a special place in my heart. We're talking the '08 champs.
oh, I know. Where do you think Javier Baez is going to sign?
I like a weird team. I could see him going to like maybe like the Pirates, just some weird like the Tigers, the Pirates, just like a bad team. He's an exciting player to have. He'll bring in some fans, but he's just as inconsistent as it gets. I mean, if you want the most, he's going to hit 500 in 1 week, and then the next week he's going to hit, barely over 100. I mean, it's just the way he plays. And he's also a big controversial player to have.
Say there's an opportunity for the Phillies to sign Javier Baez on a cheaper deal. Like say all these shortstops fly off the market and no other team is in the market for a shortstop. Because there's not that many teams in the market for a shortstop, honestly.
No, there's not. And especially today, now there's really not.
I mean, with the Rangers signing literally two of the top guys off, now all you have Detroit the Mariners, the Yankees. Who am I missing?
Which, I mean, to me, those are two teams right there. Obviously, one of them not being the Yankees, two very small market teams. I mean, the Yankees are really one of the only teams in baseball that I could see a player wanting to go to over the Phillies.
So, I mean, even if you think, say the Yankees unload and give Correa everything. All right, Correa goes to the Yankees. And then say Detroit signs Trevor Story. Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Then it comes down to the Mariners and the Phillies again. Why would the Phillies not offer Javier, in my opinion?
No, I still like Baez. He's just as inconsistent as it gets. It's going to be hard for a team to give him. I don't know how much he's asking for. It's going to be it's going to be well over 100 million. I think it's just going to be hard for teams to give him that. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a ton of teams. I think he's more of a guy that gets lowballed.
You know what's crazy? Eddie Rosario and Jock Peterson are free agents this year.
Well, we talked about Jock last night, not on the pod, but after. But obviously, Jock Peterson would be similar to Kyle Schwarber, a great guy to bring in, a great locker room guy, two-time World Series champ. Wherever he goes, he just tends to win.
Bring in his pearls. Good luck. Then you have the bamboo stick, the home run hat, and now you got the pearls.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to bring him in. Yeah, I mean, he's an exciting guy to bring in. He also gets really hot. He almost won the MVP that one year. People forget. He was like MVP of baseball like 4 years ago. He almost won it when he went to like the whole.
I don't know why he does, but Jock Peterson reminds me of like an Andre Ethier because they played out in LA. They were good for a couple years. Then they went to like a different team. They had like one good year, and then after that, you don't hear from them. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous signing Jock.
No, but he won't. He's not a big money guy. You know, it's a shame, and I said this, and I was really looking at him. Jorge Soler would have loved to add. Can't add him anymore. Obviously,
where'd he go?
Went. No, he hasn't gone anywhere, but he's probably going to get paid. He went off on the best stage at the best time. He's a very solid. People forget like a number one prospect for the Cubs. He had his good years there. He never really panned out too big. Went to Kansas City. He had a monster year in Kansas City. Like the year before this, he had like a 50 home run season no one talked about because when you play for the Royals, no one talks about you. And obviously, we don't need to talk about it. And World Series MVP. Did I say Jorge Soler? Or did I say someone other name?
No, Jorge Soler. You're talking about Jorge Soler.
I thought I accidentally said another name and you were confused for a minute. No, but Jorge Soler also entering the prime of his career, just 30 years old. I mean, that dude. Yes, he does have a strikeout issue, but man, that dude, he can hit and he comes up clutch. There's no bigger stage than the World Series, and man, did he thrive.
Yeah, he performed. Listen, one player that the Phillies need to lock up is Ronald Torreyes. Why is he on the free agent market right now?
Dude, he's the man. He's the man.
We need to bring him in. He is the perfect.
He's like our Scott Hattenberg.
He's the
Like I want him on the team.
What'd you just get done watching Moneyball? Where'd you?
No, I love that movie. I just I love to mention it as much as I can.
I'll never watch that movie again because Jonah Hill refused to take a 5-second picture with me.
Yeah, no, my bad. Forgot him.
We don't talk about that guy ever.
No, my bad. You know what? That's my bad right there.
No, you're good. I'm gonna let it slide.
That was messed up of me. That was messed up as me. I completely forgot. That was just a complete lowball from me.
See, now I'm upset. Thinking about
Jonah Hill. We're not a fan. Fan.
Yeah, forget about that guy. But it's all right. It's all good. I watched all his movies, and he couldn't take a 5-second picture with me. I'm standing out in the middle of the street. I almost got hit by a car. Ridiculous. Anyway, we'll get back to baseball right now. The Ronald Torreyes, they got to lock him up. He was clutch for us, honestly. He came up
huge.
Yeah, when Alec Boehm went down to the minors, and we needed him to step up, he played well for us. And, you wouldn't have to break the bank for him at all.
No, he signed in a nothing deal.
Yeah, 2-3 year contract, low money.
It's probably 2 years you probably get for like barely $10 million, maybe barely.
With the way he played, I think it'd be like a Hector Neris type deal, like 2 for 15.
Yeah, but that's still to me, if you could get a guy for that much, for that money, that's a great deal.
Yeah. Looking at relievers right now, I want to ask you a question. Would you sign Kenley Jansen?
Would I sign Kenley Jansen? Absolutely.
He's going to ask for a lot of money, though. So now would you sign Kenley Jansen for a lot of money and take a risk like you did with Papelbon a couple years ago? Or would you rather trade Segura for Kimbrel?
Segura for Kimbrel. To me, I've always said this, and I understand, especially being a Phillies fan, I really understand. But I always think the closer in baseball is still the most overrated position in baseball. I know that sounds crazy coming from a Phillies fan when we blew 25 saves, but I think I'd rather have a cheaper guy who could do the similar job. And Kimbrel and Jensen, obviously, this is kind of a rough comparison, but I'd rather have Kimbrel for less money than Jansen, in my opinion. Who is ever less money, I would take. That's pretty much where I'm coming at. Just because I'm not, especially with the Papelbon experiment, that was way more of a failure than it was a success. I think we can both agree on that. So that's the part that kind of sticks around with me is I don't want to have another mistake where we sign a closer that doesn't work out for us. And,
Another guy I'm looking at just popped up on the list. We were talking about him last night on the show or after the show. Joe Kelly, bring him in.
Yeah,
Perfect fit for Philadelphia.
He is a Philly guy. Just his attitude.
He would definitely cause some.
Let's bring in him and Correa. Let's bring in him and Correa.
We can't do that.
Come on.
Do that. That's like bringing in Hunter Strickland to match.
That's what we talked about too. Bring him in. Oh, that would be funny.
But I would bring in Joe Kelly, no doubt. And
Joe Kelly would be awesome.
Looking right now.
Another guy that's played in a lot of big games, Joe Kelly. He's played for a lot of good teams.
I saw someone that would be a good, no money, take a chance. I would go after Sean Doolittle. He had some
great. Yeah, he's a great closer.
Yeah, he had some success with the Nationals when they won the World Series. I would take a chance on him. Why not?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, he was great for the A's for a couple of years. He was all-star. I think he was an all-star with the Nationals too.
Dellin Betances is a free agent, but he always gets hurt every year.
Oh yeah, no.
And
the Mets tried that out.
Even when he played, he lost his velocity.
If the Mets aren't willing to pay him because they're willing to pay everybody, that says something to me. I mean, he's great. Guy throws like 100 miles per hour every pitch, but he can't stay healthy.
Would you bring back Ian Kennedy?
Yeah, for sure.
He's not our closer.
Listen, he was a throwing guy, and he was really solid for us.
Yeah, he's not a closer, but I think he would be good in a setup role.
Yeah, I would really like to bring him back. I think he's a good guy to replace Hector Neris. Obviously, I'm not saying he's going to do the same job, but he relatively pitched pretty well for us last year. He had some big strikeouts, some big close when they went on that run.
All right, so before we switch over to the NFL and finish off this episode, tomorrow's the last day before the MLB goes into the potential lockout with the contract situation and everything like that. I think that comes into effect December 1st.
Yeah.
Do you see the Phillies making a splash between tonight and the end of tomorrow? Yes or no?
Carlos Correa. Come on, baby. Get it done. Get it done.
I want to thank you all for listening to the 29th episode. This is over.
They'll sign somebody. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I do think Chris Bryant will be a Philly. I really do. I just think we're going to pay him more than any other team. I think the fact that him and Bryce Harper are supposedly best friends, I think that's going to have something to do with it. I think they're going to overpay for Chris Bryant 100%. I'm probably not going to agree with the move, but I get it. That's my prediction. And hopefully they bring in one or two closers, like a Joe Kelly, some Joe Kelly type guys, Sean Doolittle. And that's it. They're not going to do any more moves, especially if they get Chris Bryant. There won't be another guy they bring in. They'll either make some trades to bring people in, but they won't sign
over the luxury tax. Go over the luxury tax.
They don't want to do it. John Middleton, no doubt whatsoever, is a cheap GM, which our owner.
We talked about winning and spending all this big money. You brought Harper in. You have your guy. You have the face of the franchise. You have an MVP. Go spend the big money to win us a
World Cup. But if we don't get to me, if a winning recipe would be us getting Kyle Schwarber and Chris Taylor. I'm being honest. I like those moves a lot better than I would like just getting Chris Bryant. But to me, I think the Chris Bryant deal's done. I think that's not done, but I think that's the most realistic deal for the Phillies. I think a lot of teams are like Seattle, I think they're probably out on Chris Bryant. That was like the big team that was rumored to be like poking at it with us. I haven't heard anything about the Giants bringing him back. They don't tend to spend too much money. The Giants in Seattle, they really only ever have room to sign one big name guy, give him like $100 million. They did that with Robbie Ray today, so I don't see them bringing in Chris Bryant. I feel like right now, Chris Bryant is most likely to go to the Phillies. Like I don't think that's crazy. Obviously, we know about the rumors, so that's my opinion. I want your take on it. I don't think it would be. I wouldn't be shocked at all if we went to sleep and woke up and Chris Bryant was signing a deal with the Phillies.
Yeah, I think with all the rumors swirling and obviously the connection with Harper and Bryant, like you brought up, I think that's the best case scenario
I
for
mean,
us.
he's been linked
I would,
coming to the Phillies for the last 2 years.
yeah, I would also not count out for some reason Nick Castellanos. All right, out of
Oh,
Cincinnati.
that's a guy. Oh my God.
He
Oh,
had
I
a
can't.
he
I
had
can't
a
believe
very
that. That would be my number one free agent guy. That would be my number one free agent guy over anybody. Would be him.
he had a great year at Cincinnati, and that stadium's a lot bigger than Citizens Bank Park. You bring him in to play left field. He's got the connection because I believe Dombrowski drafted him. When Dombrowski was the GM of the Detroit Tigers, he drafted Castellanos.
Well, he's been a stud his whole career. It's just a shame he was in Detroit, so no one really
So
heard.
to bring him over, that would be a good signing for us Phillies. I
No,
think
yeah, that would be huge.
I think right now they're in talks with Bryant and Castellanos. I think.
If we got both of them, that would be one of the best free agencies we had in since the like the Roy Halladay
You know what?
days.
To bring both of them in, you'd have him, Castellanos in left field, Bryant at third base. I'd be happy with that. And I think they should, another person that I saw on the list before we switch over, Jake Marisnick. He used to be the center fielder for the Astros. I would take a chance on him. Why not?
Oh yeah, I agree.
Have him play center field with them.
Solid.
They should.
Yeah,
AJ
no.
Pollock, yeah.
Oh, that was a big name I loved. We could definitely bring in AJ Pollock on a nice deal.
Yeah.
Who was an all-star? He's an all-star player. Obviously, when he was with the Diamondbacks, he was an all-star.
Mhm.
He had some big hits for the Dodgers. Another guy that the Dodgers kind of stole and tucked away for like 2 years. You got to remember when you're on a team with like Mookie Betts and all these all-stars, Clayton Kershaw,
Yeah, you get
you know,
overlooked.
you get overlooked when you're a good baseball player. So that's why I think a lot. I would like to just not add Chris Bryant. Like I would like to add Chris Bryant, but like I want to see him add a lot of like a couple other people. I'd like to see us get 3 or 4 guys, spend some money. This is it. If we don't have a good year, I don't see Bryce Harper wanting to stay.
Wow. That was a big take right there.
Well, I'm just being honest. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. He's an MVP. This is his 4th season with the Phillies, and we don't make the playoffs. Obviously, I think part of it still bothers him the fact that he left the Nationals.
They won a
They
World
won a,
Series.
they won a World Series. Him and Juan Soto would be the most unbelievable 1-2 punch probably in baseball with next to Mike Trout and Otani. But hey, I mean, he wants to be in the playoffs. I want to see Bryce Harper in the playoffs. I want to be in the stadium. I miss the Phillies being in the playoffs, and in order to do that, we're not in. Like right now, the Phillies are better off going all in than they are rebuilding. We have no farm system. Our farm system is very bad, so you got to go all in.
No, I'm listening to you on everything you have to say. I'm just trying to pull up our next segment.
And I think you agree. I think you agree with me. Like it's all in right now because the rebuild's not there.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier, you have to spend over the luxury tax at this point because just like Bryce Harper said towards the end of the season when they were making a playoff push around the deadline. Well, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to trade some prospects? We have no prospects in the farm system to trade for a big time guy. And we're worried about the luxury tax and going over. You're going to make the money back, even if you go over the luxury tax. Like, imagine if we sign Max Scherzer. Would you not go out and buy his jersey?
No, I would 100%.
I would 100%. There's 2 guys right there. And every Philadelphia Phillies fan would go out and get his jersey. Boom. Tax paid off just like that. You know what I mean? I would get a Max Scherzer jersey in every different color.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, so go out and sign these guys and don't just go over 5 million of
I
the
mean,
tax.
even the Marlins are spending money and we're not. It's pathetic.
Yeah. I mean, that's that you brought up before the show started with the $0 whatsoever in free agency. I mean,
Like even the Nationals signed somebody for like a 1-year, $7 million deal. At least they signed somebody. At least they went out and gave somebody a contract. We have to. I mean, listen, the Phillies have to sign somebody. They're not going to not sign. Like someone's getting a contract. They literally have to. They got, they've lost more guys than they've signed back. It's not how it works. You got to bring in guys. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there were some trades. I wouldn't be surprised if Didi and Gene are gone. That would suck, but depending on the trades I get it, you got to bring in Bryson Scott. You got to get him You got to get him in there. He's supposedly like the next big thing when it comes to Phillies prospects. He's going. I want to say he's 24, going on 25. Got to get him in the MLB now. I mean, yeah, that's it's plain and simple. I would like to bring in guys like Joe Kelly, get Craig Kimbrell. Marcus Stroman would be great, but it's just unrealistic to get Marcus Stroman, Chris Bryant, all these guys. I would like to see like Marcus Stroman, Kyle Schwarber, maybe a
Literally everybody left. Literally, just bringing everybody left.
I would just like to bring in like the 6-7 names that me and Jim have named tonight. We just want one of them.
I know.
Like I mean, in an ideal world,
give us some hope. Honestly,
in an ideal world 2, in an absolute dream scenario 3. But listen, we'll take one. We're not that greedy. We're Philly fans. Like we know what it's like to struggle. We just want one.
Yep.
Go out and get Joe Kelly. Go out and get him on like a 3-year, $20 million deal. He's not going to be too expensive. Go out and get him. Like,
take a chance on him and see what he's got, especially in the city of Philadelphia.
I'm willing to give like a couple $100 to get Carlos Correa. I'm willing to give some money into the deal.
We'll start a GoFundMe or something. We'll try to rack up some money that the Phillies can use.
We could probably get like $500 together for Carlos Correa.
I think that would persuade him definitely.
Yeah, he would.
He does listen to this show.
Yeah, no, he's a fan. He's reached out on me. He wants to be a guest. He's just a little upset after the loss. We get it. But hey, I'm just saying that would be ideal to be. Carlos Correa, come on, come to the Phillies, baby.
Oh man. All right, to switch over to this next segment, Bryce and I were talking last night about how Bryce has been getting some heat from some of his buddies about how there's really only about 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the league that could actually win any team a Super Bowl. So like when we go over this segment, we're going to go over the list of quarterbacks in the NFL, and we're going to talk like, listen, can this quarterback, whether he's on the Patriots or the Bills or the
Lions
or the Browns or the Lions, can he take that organization and lead them on a deep playoff run, make them a Super Bowl contender? So we're going to go over this list right now. We'll start out with the franchise quarterback over there in New York, Daniel Jones. I know you love Daniel Jones.
It's crazy because I'm a diehard Eagles fan. I'm the biggest Eagles fan in the world. I hate the Giants. But man, I am a Daniel Jones guy. Like I am the definition of a Daniel Jones guy. I always have been.
Put Daniel Jones on any other team other than the Giants. Is he helping lead his team to a playoff run?
Yes. I think if he found the right team, he could be. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I am. I'm joking. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think we haven't seen the best of Daniel Jones. I talked about it last night. We don't really need to get into it about how, he's had a couple offensive coordinators so far. He's going to have a couple coaches. The GM's getting fired there. He's got the worst offensive line in the league possibly. So I think he struggled, but as of now, I got to go no, but I am a huge fan of him. And I wouldn't say it's crazy a couple years from now that he can lead his team into a deep playoff run and a, possible Super Bowl. I don't think it's crazy if he gets traded to maybe the right organization over the offseason. I don't think Daniel Jones is a bad quarterback. I think it's unfair to call him a bad quarterback. I do. But no, as of now, I'm going with no. I'm going to be realistic. It hurts for me to say. And I hate the Giants. I hate the Giants. But, man, I've always been a Daniel Jones guy.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Absolutely not. He's terrible. I can't stand Teddy Bridgewater. He is terrible. Wait, what's your opinion, Daniel Jones, Teddy Bridgewater? Obviously, both knows from you, right? We don't need to get into that.
They wouldn't lead a team to a playoff run, but Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater wears 2 gloves on his hand. Please don't ever tell me he's a good quarterback.
Bridgewater's by far better than Daniel Jones. Yes. Yeah, listen, when Bridgewater
it's fair to say that now, but I'm saying like if I could take a quarterback to lead a franchise, I'm taking Daniel Jones over Teddy Bridgewater all day.
I'm taking Teddy. We'll let the fans decide.
We'll let that go. We'll let that slide.
Jameis Winston.
No. Jameis is the worst. Oh my God, I'm done with people telling me he's good. He's terrible. He's terrible. Turnover machine.
Next quarterback, Jalen Hurts.
No. I don't think we need to get into this. We've gotten into it. He can't throw a pass over 40 yards. We love him. Me and Jim are big fans, but man, he's a good running back.
Sam Darnold.
No.
Mac Jones.
Yes. I think I think, man, I mean, I told you this. I've been a Mac Jones guy even before the Patriots and all the success. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he doesn't make mistakes. I think that's something that people don't realize is that Mac Jones doesn't turn over the ball a ton. He doesn't really take deep chances. He takes them at the right opportunities. I
So
think he's a solid quarterback.
You put him on any team.
Yes, I think he can.
You put him on the Detroit Lions. He leads that team to the playoffs.
Not this year, but that's tough. I would say
It can't be. But it's like put him.
I'm going. Yeah. I think he's a good core. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league already. But that's not me being biased because I was high on him coming into the draft.
Yeah. Tua.
Absolutely not. He's terrible. Career backup. Tua is a backup at best.
I'm gonna kind of like skip over these rookie quarterbacks, other than Mac Jones and maybe Trevor.
What do you think of Tua?
I think he's terrible.
What do you think of Jameis Winston?
It's not because I don't think like he's a very good athlete, but like
he sucks at NFL football. Don't be nice about it, Jim. Just call it how it is. He sucks at NFL football.
No Alabama quarterback is good in the NFL.
Mac Jones has something to say about it.
Mac Jones also got put with the greatest coach of all time.
But that's not his fault.
I don't think if Mac Jones went to the Detroit Lions, they get to the playoffs.
Okay, yeah, like probably not this year because the team is so horrible. But
I don't think if you put Mac Jones in the Browns, he'd get to the playoffs.
No, I think he could get it done. You know what? He's the toughest one in this category, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm a believer in him. All right, I'm a believer.
Fitzmagic.
Oh, he's the guy. He's the man, but no, definitely not.
100% would lead a team to a Super Bowl.
If you catch him in the right moments, like you bench him, like you start him for the first 3 weeks and then bench him until like week 9.
Yeah, you got to give him like 4 or 5 solid weeks.
He's got like 4 weeks of electric, and then like those next couple weeks where he's like the worst quarterback in the league. But no, I love him, but no, my dad's all-time favorite player.
Ben Roethlisberger.
No, God, he's probably the worst quarterback in the league right now.
Carson Wentz.
No. I'm not talking about him. No. The answer is no. Don't tell me this and that. No. He's very close, though. I'll tell you the truth. He is very close. He's very close.
Wow, you're starting to change your mind about him, aren't you?
No, I just think he's a lot better than like Jameis Winston and Teddy Bridgewater and those type of guys.
Trevor Lawrence. Do you think he could?
No.
Wow.
I'm not that high on Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you knew that coming into the draft too. He was the number 1 pick, no argument. Unbelievable college career, but he hasn't been that impressive in the NFL. I mean, I think he's got as many interceptions as he does touchdowns. I still think he doesn't even have double-digit touchdowns yet. It's not great to see out of your first-round pick, and it's not like the Jaguars don't have offensive talent. They do. They brought in not great offensive talent, but better than a lot of other guys have. So I'm saying no as of now. Obviously, that could change, but that's my opinion on him. I'm curious. What do you think of Lawrence?
I mean, I just think he's with the worst organization.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll give him credit. Urban Meyer, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Urban Meyer, that can't be any worse of a coach to start your career off with. Like, he's got to be the worst one.
So, I mean, I think, like, if you put Trevor Lawrence on the Eagles, playoff team.
Yeah, maybe. The Eagles are bad. The Eagles are really bad, Jim.
Trevor Lawrence is better than Hurts.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to look at teams around the league that you put Lawrence and his talent.
I'm just not – it's hard for me because I just am not high on Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's a generational talent. Like, I don't think he's like an Andrew Luck like people think he is. That's just my opinion. He's obviously got a lot of time to change that, but as of now, I'm just not – I was never high on him. I wasn't high on him going into the draft. That's just my opinion.
All right, so right now, the only quarterbacks that you would put on a different organization that would help lead to a playoff team or playoff run is Mac Jones.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd put a question mark on him. I would. I might come back. Can we leave him on I want to leave him on 50-50 right now. He's on an island.
All right.
I don't know how to feel about him yet. It's just tough.
Derek Carr.
Now, this is the hardest guy for me. People have always came up, like I said, people come up to me and say that I think every quarterback sucks, and I only think there's a couple good ones. Derek Carr is the one quarterback that always makes me question whether he's good or he's bad. But I I'm gonna have to say no for him. He's just a little bit too inconsistent for me. But I am a fan of him. I don't think it's crazy to say yes. I think just right now I got to go no, just with the inconsistencies. I think he's a great leader.
Baker Mayfield.
No. And I'm a Baker guy, but no.
Jared Goff.
God, no, he's terrible.
Would you rather have Baker Mayfield or Jared Goff?
Baker.
Joe Burrow.
Yes.
He is 1,000%. What organization he goes to, he would make into a playoff team.
I mean, you look at it. Cincinnati was the joke of the league when he got drafted there, and in 1 year, ACL after that, he is completely. Granted, they have drafted absolutely phenomenal since he's been there, and unlike most worst teams in the league, the Bengals were not like the worst team in the NFL. They're not like the Lions. They weren't a bad team. They just had a bad year. I think we all knew that. But Burrow's a winner, and he's like a fun guy to watch. He's a great leader from what I hear, and man, has he proved it.
I'm not trying to rush or anything. We only got like 5 minutes left. Burrow, we both agree on, could lead any team to a playoff run.
Yes. First one we agree on.
Kirk Cousins.
God, no. Can't win the big game. That's the issue. Can't win the big game.
Yeah, and he was taking snaps from his right guard.
He needed the ball. He needed the ball when he was supposed to spike it against the Eagles a couple years ago. Like, you can't have those mental errors.
Justin Herbert.
Absolutely.
Bingo. Number 2, definitely.
He's the future of the NFL next with Mahomes.
You know, it's funny because, before fantasy started, I was talking to you about how he's going to be a potential, like for a big year, boom season. And I never really got a chance to watch him play last year. But now I make sure to watch his games.
I watched him play in Oregon, and that's why it's a shame we didn't have this podcast then. I would have said he should have been the number 1 pick in the draft. He's everything you wanted in a quarterback. Burrow, don't get me wrong. Burrow obviously deserved to be a number 1 pick and has proven it. Those guys have been studs. But Justin Herbert, Miami, that's tough for the rest of your life.
I'm actually more surprised when Herbert has an incompletion.
I went to the Eagles game. I went to the Eagles.
That's how many passes he completes in a row.
I went to an Eagles Chargers game. Going into the third quarter, he was 18 for 20.
Matthew Stafford.
Absolutely. Stud.
Not. Absolutely not. Listen, Stafford.
I don't want to hear it. Stud.
Stafford in his career against winning record teams, I think is 8-18. Bryce, that's all.
Stafford is my guy. I'm going to ride with him until the wheels fall off.
And you know what? The wheels are falling off in LA.
No, it's the Odell curse. It's the Odell curse.
Don't blame it on Odell.
I blame it on Odell.
Don't blame it on Odell.
They're going to make the playoffs. Don't give up on the Rams yet. They're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll make the playoffs, but they're not going to get out of the first round.
I still think losing Robert Woods is huge. I think you got to remember that. That's tough on them. Give them time. Give them a couple games. They're going to win a couple games in a row. They'll go on like a 3-game win streak. Give them time. Give them time.
Matt Ryan.
God, no. I'm not a Matt Ryan guy.
All right. So right now on your list to go to any team and lead them to a playoff run, you have Burrow, Herbert, and Stafford.
Yes, that's it. And Mac Jones is my 50-50. Mac Jones is like on the he's on the bubble.
He's on the bubble.
He's on the bubble. Right. The one guy. Yeah.
Right now, I got Herbert and Burrow on my list. Kyler Murray.
Absolutely stud.
He, to me, Russell Wilson type player. He's a phenomenal
talent. We don't even need to, he's one of those guys we don't even have to go over. We don't even have to.
Any team you put him on, I think when you look at quarterbacks, that second year they're in the league, that's the biggest jump. You'll use
Carson Wentz, the MVP.
From his rookie year to that second year, they made the big jump. Kyler Murray made the big jump.
So you don't have Carson Wentz. I'm just saying you went over a list.
Oh, my bad. I do have Wentz. Sorry.
Okay, I'm just saying, yeah, I guess I'll see leaving them off.
Yeah. No, I have Wentz. Put him on any team they're going to the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay.
Dak Prescott.
Yes.
Same.
Great quarterback.
This hurts from a Birds fan perspective, but Dak's
it's like the thing. Like, I hate every Cowboys player. I don't hate you. I just don't hate Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
He's a fun guy to watch. His story off the field, we can get into that. But he's a leader. He's a great quarterback. He wasn't a number 1 pick.
Would love to have him on our team.
Fourth round guy that's absolutely proven himself. Would love to have him on our team.
Yeah. I think Mike McCarthy kind of slows him down, honestly, in Dallas.
Yeah.
I think if he had like a head coach like Herbert has, or put him with
McVay,
Mike Tomlin.
Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah.
Yeah, like just good head coaches. Tom Brady, he's on the list.
We're not gonna. Yeah, Tom Brady. I literally think he'd win the Lions Super Bowl this year.
So count how many you got so far on your list. You got 4, right? You got Burrow, Herbert, Murray.
Tyler, Brady, Dak. No, I got like 5 or 6
You
right
got
now.
5 right now. Mac Jones on the bubble.
Mac Jones in the bubble.
I got Wentz, Burrow, Herbert, Murray, Brady. 5.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson.
No,
Why?
because I'm thinking Super Bowl, and Lamar Jackson has, similar to your opinion on Matt Stafford, he hasn't proven to me in the playoffs. He's lost every year in the playoffs. Lamar, don't get me wrong, has impressed me. He's improved every year. I just don't think he's a big win guy right now. Obviously, this could come back and bite me. This could be a clip that you pull up and could destroy me. But I think he's a great quarterback. It's tough. I think he's definitely more so like how Mac Jones is on the bubble. He's definitely more so a yes. I'm just not fully bought into him yet. I'm being honest.
So I was not bought in on Lamar Jackson until this year.
This year, that's similar to me.
When the Ravens had,
You know what? I'm going to change my opinion. I know that this is unlikely. I'm going to go with yes. 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 It's a very close yes for me, but I'm going to go with yes.
You know, when you look at this year, his numbers are very similar to his numbers when he won the MVP award, and what he's doing with all the injuries that Baltimore has, both on the offense.
And I got to give him the benefit too. They have a terrible. They've never set him up with a great offense.
I mean, he's never had a number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean Marquise Brown is having a really good year.
He's not a number 1 receiver.
Yeah, but 1,000%. You're right.
Ryan Tannehill.
I am a Tannehill guy, but I'm going to go no.
No, Derrick Henry's a quarterback of that team, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. He's a good quarterback, though.
I know you're going to say on this one. Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'm saying yeah.
I would have thought you would have said no.
I don't really like him that much. The Bills haven't been. They were my team this year. That I don't know if we're running out of time, but
you good?
That we were that team. They were this team that year that coming into the season, they were like one of your favorites, and they just weren't. I wasn't sold on them. They haven't been great this season. They're blowing out bad teams and they're losing to good teams. I'm gonna give Allen the yes. He's got the talent. He's got the talent.
All right. These last 3 names, in my opinion,
he's like Lamar Jackson though for me. He's like Lamar Jackson.
The last 3 names that I got on the list: Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes. Wherever they go, it does not matter who their head coach is, who they got on the offense, who they got.
Wait, but I don't know. No, I'm kidding.
They're winning no matter what. So those are our list of quarterbacks that we think can go to any team.
So we don't really have much different besides you're. I'm off Wentz and you're off Stafford. I'm on Stafford.
I'm on Josh Allen. I know you're on the bubble with Josh.
I'm gonna. It's like it's so close to me for him.
It's hard
because I don't think he's as great as people give him credit for. I just think he's good. I think he's an above average quarterback.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot of guys.
We'll definitely come back to this segment. It's a good
after going through the list, I'm going to give Mac Jones the no. I'm going to give him the no.
Why?
It's just he's a rookie. Yeah, it's tough to say it's tough to give him that nod right now. But man, is he close? He's like Derek Carr to me. Him and Derek Carr are like the same type of guys to me right now. I think Derek Carr is a really good. I think he is. I think he's a good quarterback. He's just inconsistent. These guys are really consistent from the time they've been in the league. They've all. I mean, you know what you're getting out of Matt Stafford. You know what you're getting out of Aaron Rodgers. You know what you're getting out of Mahomes. These guys are going to put 300 yards on the board. They're going to throw for 2 to 2.5, 3 touchdowns a game. Mac Jones, you just don't know yet.
100%. I think if it came down to it, and I had to start a team, I'd take Derek Carr over Mac Jones for now. But I think in 2-3 years, it will be Mac Jones and Derek Carr. But obviously, Bryce.
And I want to say that I want to say that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are barely on the list for me. I mean, they're
like
fringe. They're like
fringe. Okay.
They're like how Mac Jones is barely out there, barely getting.
Okay, on the bubble.
And people are going to call me crazy for that, but they haven't won in the playoffs yet. Really, they just haven't. I mean, obviously, Josh Allen has. Josh Allen has won in the playoffs, but Lamar hasn't, and that's big. Lamar literally has not won a playoff game. He's 0-3.
15 seconds left here. I don't mean to cut you off, but obviously, great episode as always. Good work. And go Birds, baby.
Go Birds, no matter what. Phillies, Carlos Correa tomorrow.
Book it.